In 2024, right, I go to the gym 4 days a week. I exercise all seven. I post regularly, almost every day on YouTube, and I'm growing a coaching business. If you've been on this self improvement space and watching these videos, then the chances are that you've watched a bunch of content about being productive and making progress in your journey, like I have. In 2021, I was a binge watcher when it came to these videos, and at the end of the day, I would always wonder why I wasn't making any progress. But I've figured it out now, and I know exactly what was holding me back and what's probably holding you back, right? And it's not what you've heard or what you're thinking. If you don't know me, I'm Andrew, and I help young, driven, and ambitious men become highly productive and elitely focused. So if you like this kind of content, please leave a like and subscribe. It helps a lot to get this content in front of the people who need it. Now, I was struggling majorly at this time to make any sort of progress that made a genuine impact in my life, right? I was just hard coping doing 5 minutes of meditation randomly at 3 different times during the week, saying, "Oh yeah, bro, like I'm on self-improvement, I'm making progress." And that's when I realized that I really had to do some deep digging to figure out what the problem was. Because all of the information was there, but none of it was actually changing anything in my life. Most self-improvement tips are either for the person who's already on their action grind where they're already just churning out being productive and improving every single day, or they just don't address the root of the problem at all and expect you to be able to fix it. But I found the root of the problem that's keeping you from making the progress that everybody is saying that they're making online, right? It's possible, it's real. They're just not getting to the root of the problem, and that's what this video is all about. You may think that your mindset or your laziness or procrastination is holding you back from making progress, right? But all of these and any of these are symptoms of something bigger. Now, I'm just gonna tell you straight up what's holding you back, and you might get offended or hurt by it, but the one thing that's truly holding you back, the one thing, is you, right? But it's not your fault, and that's the good thing. So what is the actual problem? Right? It's not the part of you that's watching these videos and learning that is the issue, right? That's the part of you that you're trying to nurture and change into. The part of you that's trying to actually expand themselves, grow, and become something new. Right? It's your old self that's holding you back. Right? Your old self and old ego, which are basically the same thing at this point, are fighting tooth and nail to stay alive, right? To keep themselves afloat and not fade away into the past, right? So ultimately, the problem is that you keep giving into your old self and you let the mind take control over your decisions, right? And your mind is a majority made up of that old self and old ego. Now I need to make a distinction that is crucial if you want to actually change and make progress, and that is separating your mind from consciousness. Now, they are completely separate, although a lot of people like to use them together. But you can know this right now if you just close your eyes and observed your thoughts for 5 seconds, right? You would clearly know that the thoughts, right, are coming from your mind, but you're observing them, right? You don't have to interact with them or engage with them. You're the observer, and that is your consciousness. Right? You're always observing everything that's happening around you when you're conscious. But when you're on autopilot and you let your old self and your mind take over, you don't really think, right? You just kind of act out of habit, out of pattern. You're not observing anything. You're just kind of going through the motions, right? And that is what you've been doing for a majority of your life, right? 90% of the time, you don't have to think, so you don't. And that is the problem, because the old self has been conditioned over your entire life to carry out certain actions and patterns over and over and over again to keep itself going. When it comes to personal choices like what to watch, right, what to eat, if we're playing video games or we're reading, right? If we're binge eating or doing a workout, right? If we're being lazy or productive, all these decisions stem from the ego a majority of the time, unless you use your consciousness to specifically choose the decision that you know is better. Because we all know that binge eating is a lot worse than hitting a workout, but it's a lot more pleasurable to binge eat than hit the workout. So you need to exercise your consciousness to choose the better option there. Otherwise, the ego is just going to take over and you're going to reach for the snacks before you even realize it. The problem really is that your ego is super comfortable doing what it has been doing for your entire life right now. And you're trying to change and you're trying to make the conscious choice to change, but the ego is just so rooted and your autopilot is so part of your nature that it's hard to change, right? So how do we actually fix this, and how do you fix it so that you can actually start making progress? You can take back control of your mind and your ego in two different ways, right? The first one is the unsexy answer, and that is meditation, right? Which is essentially just the practice of rejecting your ego and listening to your consciousness, right? Every time you have that thought, why am I doing this? This is stupid. How much longer do I have to sit? I could just get up right now. All of these thoughts are the ego fighting to have its hold back and tell you to do something that you would normally do anyway. And then you using your consciousness and putting your consciousness in control is having yourself sit there and focus on the breath and avoiding the thoughts, not engaging with them, right? Just observing them. That is you exercising the power of your consciousness, right? And you need to do more of that if you want to be productive, successful, focused, right? You need to be actually utilizing your brain and not just giving into the easy impulse. The second way is an extension of this, which is being conscious of your decisions at all times. Now, but that is completely just ideal, right? In an ideal world, you are consciously choosing everything that you're doing 24/7. But at this stage, right, you're just trying. Try and make more conscious decisions in your life. Before you go and do something, ask yourself, did I choose this? Was I on autopilot? Or do I actually want to do this? Right? And the more you do this, you'll take control over your life. You'll realize that I was acting out of ego 90% of the time, and that maybe 10% of the time I was choosing what I actually wanted to do or what I knew was better for me. This process of constantly asking yourself, am I conscious right now? Like, am I really choosing this? Do I want this with all that I am to make this decision? Every single time that you do that, and the more often you do that, you're putting yourself back in control of your life. Right? This ego, which is just a collection of all your past patterns and events that thrives off of just doing those patterns over and over again, is being pushed down every single time that you actually evaluate your decision. If you just stop for 1 second, literally 1 second, before you make a decision, before you go engage in an activity, and ask, did I choose this? And is this what I want? You are going to see change quickly, because you're going to find more and more each and every time that you ask this that you didn't want what you were about to do. So now you have the power and the choice to choose what you actually want to do, what will actually benefit you, and what will make you happier and healthier in the long run. Right? This is how you make progress and change. Right? In the beginning of my YouTube journey, everything that I was doing was super forced because it wasn't something that I wanted, right? It was some ideal at that point, right? Over a year ago when I made like 2 or 3 videos, it was just some ideal that some other person on YouTube had put into my head that I should be a YouTuber, right? But then over the course of a year, I really thought about it, developed myself, and was ready to become that person. And then I made the conscious choice to make the channel, right? It wasn't something that was a shiny object syndrome moment where I was just motivated in the moment to do it, right? I had come to the conclusion and consciously made that choice. And then I consciously choose almost everything in my day as much as I can, right? Nobody is perfect unless you're literally like enlightened. Nobody's going to be perfect with this, but if you want to become more focused, become more disciplined, become a harder worker and more productive, it's all about consciously choosing more decisions than you are on autopilot for. Right? If you can choose for 50% of your decisions in a day, then that is a great day and you're going to be improving 100%. So take back control of your life, make the progress by choosing consciously to move towards the goal and not sabotage yourself, and choose consciously to reject the ego part of yourself that's causing you to go back to these things, right? It's when you give in to that ego is when you go back to these negative habits. So everything comes down to your power of choice and whether you choose to actually use it or not, whether you choose to use that power or give in to that ego. If you're serious about making progress and transforming your life, and you trust me enough to actually help you make change and fast track your progress, then schedule a call with me, first link in the description, where I'll help you with your personal situation and create a custom plan for you and help give you clarity on what steps to take in your work and your life. Click the second link in the description to join my free community, which is not going to be free forever, and help create that sense of community, grind the leaderboard, and build that community with me while you still can. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was valuable. Like and subscribe if it was. And as always, stay blessed.